It looked like there was more than one conscious being in the cube, and it was glowing with red and blue all over. Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Dream Podcast. This will be episode 32. This is your host, Lee.
And I'm Casey Lucid. Hello, everybody.
So today we'll be presenting another Dream Stories episode. And before we get to it, we just want to mention that we have a Discord group in the works, and we'll let you guys know when that's done. It'll just be another place to provide people to communicate and have discussions amongst each other, share their own stories, experiences, whatever it may be. And of course, dream art if they make any. You know, it would definitely be interesting to see other people's dream arts as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I actually had one lady reach out to me that she really liked what we're doing, and she's going to jump on the subreddit that we made for the Let's Dream podcast, and then also try to draw out some of the dream stories that people post in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if anyone that's listening that has any artistic ability that wants to try to render out some of the stories that people post, I always love seeing people's different interpretations. So that'd be cool.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I would love to see other people's, like, how they interpret, like, this dream or story or creature as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's actually, you know how we've often talked about how dreams are a personal experience, but they're definitely a way to kind of like socialize and interact with one another because it gives you something interesting to talk about. Well, I think it's even more interesting to see how different people interpret the same dream differently, through art. Yeah.
And not only that, but Casey Lucid has also been posting videos of him drawing out dream stories. So you can see how he draws it, his creative process, all on YouTube. The channel is just called Let's Dream Podcast on YouTube. So if you'd like to see how it's made, check it out there. As well as we have a little bit of extra stuff and visuals on there as well. Let's
get on to the dream stories. We have the first story here is submitted to us by user by the name of Maddie_15. So it's a short one. It goes, I have this weird dream that sometimes there's a giant snake like a titan boa that is rampaging through a city, and half of its body is kind of like a mechanical cyborg build, and it has a sword at the tip of its tail, and it also has laser eyes and other tech/cyborg things. That's a quick one.
When does Godzilla come in and defend the city, right?
Yeah, that's a great how does your mind come up with that? Like a cyborg snake. Like I would think of like a cyborg anything else but snake, like a cyborg gorilla or a cyborg I don't know.
I'm just thinking like
cheetah.
The mad scientist who built it was like, man, quadrupedal or bipedal animals are so last century. I'm gonna build a snake. And then plan out the arduous task of designing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you, Maddie15. The next story is from user CherryJulie-B. I have kind of an interesting one. I had a dream that the Vex robots, specifically the one with the half-circle shaped head from Destiny, was taking over a huge library that had a grand staircase leading up to a game room that covered the whole second floor.
So that one is, I actually made a sketch of that one that's up on the Instagram or the subreddit, wherever people like to see things. That one actually came out pretty good. I'm actually very happy with that.
This is a video game dream. This person's on a raid in a video game, I think.
Somebody's been playing a bit much Destiny, but nothing wrong with that.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. So this is the next one is from the user One Winged Angel 3. So in the dream goes, originally I was just reading a book. It began with a woman walking into an apartment building late at night. The second she closes the door, behind her, she's attacked by an unseen figure. She runs out of the building, but instead of a bustling city, everyone had vanished except for a silhouetted man. She ran up to him, but as she got closer, he morphed into a creature described as a small white furred and looked somewhat like a dog. It told her to not to go back into the building, but instead seek out 4 totems sprinkled throughout the city. Then the book shifted into a movie. The creature looked like a cross between the Coca-Cola bear and the Target dog, but something wasn't quite right about it. It gave off an aura of power and mystique, but also trickery. The woman searched for the totems and did something to them. They weren't really totems, they were massive jagged monoliths that stretched so far into the sky that you couldn't see the top. The city, although once again populated, was filled with all sorts of garish colors on the buildings and streets, the people's clothes, and even the very air itself was constantly shifting from pink to red to purple. After finding all 4, she returned to her building, where the camera showed a mass of writhing black tendrils in the foyer that morphed into a shadowy silhouette of a man. However, he had the entirety of his head above his temples made of tendrils. His silhouette was constantly morphing, although it still remained roughly the same. This creature gave off an aura of pure evil and malice. The movie and dream ended with the woman and white creature about to step into the building and the shadowy man ready to meet them.
Wow. I find myself really appreciating and liking the ones where it has like the dreamer paints a awesome landscape, like the city and the sky and the jagged mountains,
yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever experienced that in a dream myself, and I find that really awesome. And then it brings you right back into the main kind of hook of the dream with the shadowy silhouette man.
Yeah, it's very sometimes dreams can be very well, developed, but also, kudos to the writer or to the person that's shared their dream with us, because it looks like they have a knack for writing, because they described everything very well.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, so the next story is from Anonymous. In one of my dreams, there was a large humanoid, 50 feet, that had nothing below its chest. It was made of rusty iron and machine parts. It crawled using its arms. Also had large holes in it and dark eyes in a desert-like environment.
That reminds me of that sounds like some kind of a role-playing game, RPG character.
Yeah, like in a world where machines have decayed and laid waste to the environment, and now they're just their last wills are going forth. Yeah,
just crawling around on the desert.
It's kind of awesome.
I could see that being like a Final Fantasy side boss or something, like you're crossing a desert and you come across him crawling around.
You get boss music.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's see. So the next one is from user GBK78. Interesting name. I had a dream with a giant plague doctor with red eyes. He was wearing a long black robe and had a large scalpel in his right hand, and I don't know what he was doing. It was very vivid, but only 30 seconds long. I think he was just standing there. I also remember there being a brown-green sky with a World War II plane flying above.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely very creepy. Holding a large scalpel in his right hand. Yeah, those plague doctor masks are so freaky. Definitely nightmare fuel.
When were the plague doctors around, the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages? Or all the question.
Above? I would assume so.
Because, a lot of things back then were so creepy.
Yeah, that's true.
How they were recorded visually, like a Renaissance cat. Have you ever seen a Renaissance person try to paint a cat? It looks demonic.
Yeah, because didn't that have something to do with the fact that they didn't know exactly what I don't know, not necessarily how to draw them, but I remember there was something about lions, how some Englishmen were or English monks were drawing lions, but they made them look more like dogs as opposed to cats because they had never seen a lion.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I looked it up real quick, and it says that plague doctors, specifically the one with the beak-looking mask, were around the 17th century. Okay, 17th century Rome.
Ah, okay.
So interesting.
Too bad they didn't have your skills, huh?
But thank you for sharing that, GBK.
All right, and the next story is from user Horse Testicles with a P at the end. The dream goes, I found a vial of acid in a car door with my older sister and a couple of other guys who were supposed to be our friends. We decided we would take a couple of drops. I take one, my sister takes a couple, and the dude takes some too. I start to feel it in about 30 minutes later, and I decide the trip is too mild, and I want some more. I try to take 3 drops, but I end up dumping about a quart of the vial on my face and in my mouth. Okay? Everyone reacts to saying, "Holy dude, you took way too much." Then we go back to the family's house and we're doing an Easter celebration. This is when I start to trip my nuts off. All the people in my dream start to turn into these abstract shapes and colors, and it felt like my soul was shooting out of my body. After that, I full on astral projected. I could not feel my sense of self and was stripped down to my soul, and I rose up into space. I start seeing all these spinning and spiraling space entities. I remember seeing one of them, which was a yellow and purple with eyes all over, and it was shaped like a Rubik's Cube. It looked like there was more than one conscious being in the cube, and it was glowing with red and blue all over. I started to spin and shake violently, like it was trying to solve itself. At this point, I'm over in a very psychedelic version of my older neighborhood, and I start to come back to my body. I hang out with my sister and those dudes for a bit, and they leave, and then I wake up. Okay, so this is a great example of taking drugs in your lucid dream.
Yeah. So yeah, that definitely comes up every now and then where it's, people will discuss that. And I've heard varying degrees of like people from just, experiencing nothing all the way to just full blown hardcore trip like this person had. So I forget who I was talking to, but it was like, I have tried taking like fictional substances in my dream. Like for example, taking a sensu bean. Just to see what would happen, and then, or taking like the demon fruit from One Piece, like eating that just to see what would happen in a lucid dream.
Did anything happen?
When I took the senso bean, it's just like, I had like a crazy amount of energy flow through me to the point where I just like explode.
Wow, that's awesome.
Which is not what's supposed to happen, but yeah. And then the demon fruit was just kind of like, one time I ate it and it was just like a dragon fruit.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a regular dragon fruit. And another time I got some powers, but I forget exactly what happened.
Does it feel like sometimes your brain can't manifest what you're trying to do?
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing. It's like when you're lucid dreaming, sometimes you feel like freaking Dr. Manhattan. Like you have like complete control of the fabric of your reality. And then other times you feel like Luke Skywalker just learning how to use the Force, you barely make like a pebble move.
Interesting.
So it's definitely a spectrum. But yeah, this man is on another level though. The one that just shared that dream.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm going to be blessed out in space.
Thank you, Horus Testicles, for sharing that with us. Let's see. Okay, so this next one comes from user Opal Stranger. I had a dream about an anthropomorphic impala standing in front of a hut with a staff in its left hand while banging its chest with its right. At the same time, it was primarily screaming, and glowing green fumes were coming from its breath while its eyes glow green and have that softer, slow movement of glowing when it moves while screaming. Kind of a shaman impala.
So what do you see in this?
Well,
visually?
I'll tell you exactly what I see is I made a drawing of it.
Oh, okay.
So it's available for anyone that jumps on the subreddit, on the Let's Dream Podcast subreddit, or on our Instagram too, the Let's Dream Podcast Instagram. It's a kind of like a crazy looking creature, but the person that shared that with us said that the drawing came out fairly accurate. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, part of the reason why I really like drawing the dreams of like people's dreams, or at least sketching them out. I usually don't do like a completely rendered drawing because I don't have the time, but like I'll sketch them out, and it's always interesting because, because often it's like a dead-on hit, but then it's just like a complete miss. So it's like a hit or a miss. So I don't know if it has something to do with like how well the person describes the dream, but it's just interesting to see.
I want to see one where a person depicts every single detail of the creature they want drawn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I tell people, to try to be as detailed as possible. And the thing is, it's like sometimes most of the time, people don't explain what they look like in the dream. So if they don't tell me what they look like, I just put myself in their dream because, I have no other reference,
Yeah. So tell people what you look like to KC, people. Tell, people. Jeez. What is that sentence?
Yes, please describe yourself. If you're sending us an art request, please describe yourself. It helps tremendously.
For the last story for today is from user Miffin Man. And it goes, okay, well, I had a dream recently about being back in elementary school. We were all hiding like there was a shooting. We hear someone pass by and we all open the door and sneak towards a window. And the attacker, a giant muscular wasp guy, and he's wearing a red tank top and baggy military pants, and he has a giant red metal glove on, and it shocks everyone but me, and they all turn to dust. He looks at me and walks away, and I just hear screams. Wow.
Jeez. Yeah.
What a dick.
To be honest, though, I feel like that's an accurate representation of wasps.
You're right. He's got it.
Because, asps are, wasps, they should just be called asps. Wasps are just such assholes. I don't know what their purpose is, but they don't seem to have any other purpose than just to annoy people, so.
There was this big wasp in my room once, and it was one of those that had the lower half of the body, and then there's a larger part hanging down.
Okay.
And when I looked at it, because it was 2 feet away from me flying, and immediately my brain turned on Ride of the Valkyries, and I just screamed and ran out.
That's funny.
It was strange.
Yeah, but I also this one that this dreamer shared. I also made a sketch of that one that they said looked pretty accurate for anyone that wants to check it out. But yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, okay, well, that's pretty much all the dreams that we have for today. And let us know if anybody's interested in joining over to our Discord, because that's where I think we'll do a couple of interesting events, kind of interactive things that people will enjoy. And as well as, if you just want to share some stories or dream art.
Yeah. And I think it's a great place to interact with other people that are interested in the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have a lot of interesting lucid dreaming experiences and tips and tricks that I think people would enjoy. And there's a lot of
other cool people that I would look forward to seeing discussions of whatever may happen.
Yeah, that's one thing. So far on the subreddit, it's still kind of young. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, or less than that really. But a lot of really cool people have come onto the subreddit, and in terms of their interest in dreams and also sharing dreams and having interesting dreams. So yeah, let us know. You can come on the Discord or the subreddit, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And is everyone still keeping up with their dream journals? Do you guys have a dream journals? Get a dream journal.
Definitely. One of the most important. If you don't do anything else, get a dream journal.
Yeah. KC needs more stories to draw. And how's he going to do it with you trying not to remember it from a dream journal?
Well, maybe a little backed up at the moment with dream stories, but I always love hearing them. They're always so interesting. But that's pretty much it for this time, guys. And thank you all for joining, and we will see you next time.